Alrighty. So what's up? Welcome to the Gemini Show. I am the Gem Star.
And I'm Ayana.
And today we're here to talk about COVID-19. I mean, it's the hottest topic. It's something that's affected all of our lives. So it's something that we wanted to give our little 2 cents on, you know what I'm saying? So we're starting this podcast. Hope that you'll like it. Bringing some issues that are relevant to you and your family. You know what I'm saying? And we'll start off. And also, I'd like to shout out our coach, MJ. You know what I'm saying? She's our facilitator. She'll help us out. So you'll hear her in the background a little bit. So, MJ, you got our topics. What are we talking about today?
Well, I know today we are talking about COVID and how are we coping. So with, like you said, everything that's going on, 2020 has been a crazy year. COVID has impacted many of us and is continuing to impact us. So we just want to talk about how we are coping and how has it impacted you.
So what's one of the biggest things that has, impacted your life with COVID? Like, do you actually know anybody who has had COVID?
So I will say that I didn't know, like it's been since March. I recently had a first-hand connect of someone because I knew people who knew people, but I didn't know them. So I recently, a good friend of mine contracted COVID, and that experience has really been scary because we notice now that people aren't being honest. So she contracted and didn't feel that it was she was doing what she should have done, wearing a mask, not hanging out with people, being very limited, but she allowed her child to go somewhere and then they contracted COVID because a family member said they were staying in the house, they were being safe, they were being responsible, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So I've just been trying to stay in touch with her, find out how she's doing, because we know it is a very up and down disease. You can feel good, or virus. You can feel good one day and not so good the next. You don't know the effects. Everyone is different.
Yeah. My goddaughter actually had it, and she had it pretty bad. She was on a ventilator and fighting for her life.
Wow.
And she pulled out. She pulled out of it.
How long did she have it? Or
I want to say it was like about a week or so.
Oh, okay, but that's still not bad. Some people are really experiencing it for much longer. So
even the doctors said it was like a miracle that she came off, because usually when you go on the ventilators, that's it. It's a wrap.
Right.
Like, you don't come off the ventilators.
Right.
And she came off the ventilators, and just like a true warrior, she beat it. She beat it.
Wow, that's great. Do you know if she's having any long-term effects afterwards? Because some people are experiencing that as well.
She seems like she's continuing to, become healthier and healthier.
Right.
So it seems like she's doing really good.
So what about testing? Have you been tested since we've had it?
I have not been tested. This is one of the rare moments when I'm even out the house. But,
right. So I've been tested about 4 times, I think.
What kind of test did they do? They do the up the
they
nose.
They did do
swab.
the nose. It's not as bad as people
hurt?
think.
They stick it up and you yo.
It doesn't hurt. It is a little bit uncomfortable for sure, but it's nothing major. When I saw it on TV, I definitely was not of the mindset that I wanted to go get this test because it did feel like they were going all the way into your brain. But it literally is your nasal cavity. It's not that bad. And so I got tested in, what was my first one? I can't even remember because that test took longer initially. Mm-hmm. But as I've been going more often, the results are coming back quicker.
What made you get the test?
So each time has been, no, I haven't had symptoms. I think I traveled one time. And so because I live in a house, my mother's here, my mother's 70 years old, I need to make sure that, she's healthy. So I care about her health. And then I did go to a friend's event, and it wasn't big. It was a socially distant event, but it was 10 people. But I noticed that with COVID, I get anxiety when I'm around too many people. Okay. So I went and got a test because that number of people kind of made me a little bit nervous. So I got tested.
So do you move differently because of COVID as far as trusting who you're willing to be around? How has that changed the dynamics of your friendships and people that you're close to, even your family?
like for me, it's interesting because there's a part of me that knows that this is real. There's a part of me that knows people are dying. There's just another part that's just so much mystery to the situation that it just causes me to think, you know. So of course you want to be safe, you want to follow directions, but it just seems like you can be overly cautious. You can allow, like you said, anxiety and fear to take over and start overdoing it, stop living your life, and you know. To me, no one truly knows exactly how you get this thing. No one knows exactly. Nobody can pinpoint. Nobody can say, "Let me show you how you get it. Do this, do this, do this, and you got it." You know, we can only go off of what we know. So it definitely changes how you move, the way you go about things. Like to me, I was already a clean person. I was already like looking at people like wanting to wear. You know what I'm saying? I was already like that before COVID. So now it's almost like, to me, it's like, it's about time. That's right. Wash your hands, nasty ass. Like, wash your hands.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So.
Yeah. For me, it definitely has changed the way I move, only because I don't want to be one of the ones to get it. At some point, I was, earlier in this, I kind of was like, let me just get this and get it over with, because I'll probably be one of the ones that's okay, because I don't get sick often. So I kind of was thinking, let me get it over with. Let me just go ahead and suffer through it and whatever it's going to be. But then you start seeing that everyone, it doesn't matter if you're young, healthy, pre-existing conditions, like it doesn't matter. It can go bad for some and it can be okay for some. So you don't know. So that obviously made me not go that route. But I am very, I keep my who I socialize with to people who I trust, who I feel like, and I communicate. Like, I'm definitely a communicator. What are you doing? How do you hang out? If you're a person who's hanging out in bars, we probably won't be seeing each other for a long time. If you're a homebody, yeah, we can go out. But I still try to separate. Like when I'm, like, you know, we hung out in the summer. I saw you all, but then I didn't hang with anyone else for some days to make sure that if anything transpired, and we were safe there. It was a distant event. There was a lot of space. It was outdoors, all of those things. But I still am so conscious that just to be sure, let me not now go take this virus that I could be harboring that I don't know because I'm not having any symptoms yet. Let me not go hang out with other people until I feel like some time has passed. And then I'll socialize again with another person. Just so I can also track and know if something happened, exactly who I've been around.
And I think that's the most important thing is to track your movements, you know. Maybe keep a journal.
Right.
You know, when you do
don't
go
have
out.
much movement. I don't need no journal. My movement is this much.
I'm saying, so again, even like the going out, when you went out in the summer.
Right.
You were around us, but you were around people you didn't know.
Right.
You didn't know where they had been.
Right.
But we were around. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's, again, how do you know?
Right.
What about contact tracing? How do you feel about that? Because I know Apple, they have an update. I'm not sure if it's automatic or not, and it helps keep track. I think it will tell you who around you, near you,
or what the location was of the virus. You know, the virus has.
It gives you an idea of who has it in whatever area. What do you feel about people tracking you like that?
Tracking, it is what it is. I enabled it on my phone.
Okay.
Just because that's the only way we're going to get this virus under control is to know and to be able to trace. The company that I work for, we're not in the office, but they have opened it up, and there's a few volunteers in the building, and they have a tracking device. So one of my colleagues had asked, have you decided to go into the office? And I was like, no, just because I don't trust people.
Right.
And he said, I don't want to go in because I don't want to be tracked. So my company is doing, if you are away from your desk, you have to have a tracking device, and it will tell you if you're within 6 feet of anyone. But the purpose is also, right, but the purpose is also if you reported that you had it and our sensors were in contact with each other, they can literally easily figure out everyone that you've been in contact with and nip it quickly. I think that's the smart way to go. That's what we have to do. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with. I mean, first of all, Big Brother is in all your business. If you don't want to be tracked at this point, then you need to be off the grid. Because if you got a bank account, you log on, you do direct deposit, you swipe your ATM card, they know all your business anyway. So get over it.
So speaking of trust, briefly, what do you guys feel about the vaccine? So as we know, us black folks got some history with people doing some things.
Ooh, the vaccine.
The wonderful people of America.
So, I do have one comment.
Okay.
I just think it's interesting that America or American companies came up with the vaccine. I'm thinking if this is a worldwide pandemic disease, why not work with the other geniuses and minds of the world to... But no, American companies, the smart, they came up with, and it's 90%, and they tested 3,000 people. I don't know. And to me, the most suspect, if you didn't want to be suspect, you shouldn't have did this. But Dr. Fauci had a message specifically for black people.
I call it the Fauci book tour.
but again, with all the problems in our community, all the things we've gone through, no one has spoken up. No one has spoken up to specifically talk to us about anything ever. And now with a vaccine, you want to talk to us about why we should take. And again, I was watching what's the name of that joint with Whoopi Goldberg on it? The View.
Yes.
It's like, why y'all trying so hard to push it? Like, why can't it be okay to doubt?
And it was also a black person who took the first vaccine in the U.S. The first two people were black people, by the way.
That lady, she was on there.
A nurse and a doctor in New York.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with everything that you said. The vaccine, I feel mixed about. I think that the why they are pushing it is because the virus is out of control, right? So of course they're going to push it because they want, and again I'm taking black people out of it, just in general, that if the vaccine is truly if we're going to go with medical and forget all of our fears and our history and just go with, they developed this vaccine, and so now they want to get it out so that we can get rid of this virus and we can go back to our normal lives. That is why I believe they're promoting generally. Now, the distrust, I agree with you. I don't trust it either. I personally don't see myself taking the vaccine. Probably, I need data. I need data not from the media. I need results. I need to be able to read the results, go, you know what I mean? Because they promote that kind of stuff because they don't, in my opinion, care about people of color. So it's like, oh, let's give it to you and let's really see the side effects. Because my issue is not about does the vaccine work. I believe that that's what they tested, and I believe it will work. My issue is, what are the side effects? We've only had COVID 9 months since March, right? So here we are at 9 months. They got the vaccine developed, what? Let's just say they got it 3 months into it, which means we've had the vaccine 6 months, which we know we haven't. I'm just using wider time frames.
Right.
So you mean to tell me you've tested it, but what are the side effects? We don't know. And I'm more concerned about the side effects than the working of it. That's what I'm concerned about, because I think it's going to work. But what's going to happen when you got a runny butt, when you got swollen ankles, when your head too small? Like, what's going to happen? Because they're not going to tell us that. And we won't know until we start seeing people come up with the side effects.
So then you have to determine which side effects are worse. The side effects that you get from catching the disease that stays with you, so the news has stated, or the side effects that come from the vaccine.
And I have to see what those side effects are to weigh it out. And so at this point, I don't know what the side effects are because they just want to tell us how great it is. When they start giving up the side effects, like, you know, the prescriptions that they're listing on the news, they tell you, oh, the side effects. I want to see those side effects. When they can tell me that, then I can consider it.
What do you think about requirements? I was listening to a news story and they talked about maybe traveling overseas may require you to get a COVID vaccine.
Wow, now you know how much I love to travel.
That's
So
why
now you done like done something to my ears because of traveling. Look, no job was gonna get me to take it, but a trip.
That's why I didn't say job.
But a trip, I don't know. I might. I don't know. I have to see what country it is.
All of them.
I don't know. I don't know. I really, it's just, there's so much more information that we need. And right now, I don't trust the government. I don't trust the media. I'm starting not to trust. Like, I was a believer, or like I trusted Dr. Fauci. He is one of the people that I would say I would trust. But I'm calling this like his Fauci book tour. You know, when people sell a book and they go to all the news channels and they talk to everyone, that's what he's doing now. And he is definitely on these talks for hour talks with the black people. He needs to have this. And that is what's making me a little bit leery. And then we have to think about the developers of this. Like, it is about money. This country is always about money. And they are going to line their pockets. This Project Warp Speed, or whatever they called it to develop it, everything that we've ever wanted in life, we wanted it fast, it costs us more money, right? Mm-hmm. You don't think that those people need to be paid and compensated for the amount of time and energy they put into this? Mm-hmm. That's what I'm concerned about. Mm-hmm. So I just don't trust it. I don't know. Do we have any comments in the... I'm just curious. No? Okay.
Not really.
Okay.
But yeah, the vaccine is one of the things where, it's almost like the conspiracy theories you always heard about, the way this is going to happen. And it seems to be playing out exactly. They're going to make you wish you had the vaccine. They're going to say it's not available, and, people are going to want it. And that's, to me, they're creating that now.
Right.
Where they're telling you that the vaccine won't even be available to regular people until the summertime. Mm-hmm. So making you wish that you had the vaccine.
Right.
Again, it's almost...
Is that making you wish, or you thinking it's creating a sense of urgency that'll make multiple people...
I think there is a campaign of fear going on. There's
mm-hmm.
a campaign of controlling minds and fear tactics
mm-hmm.
and getting people to... Again, I heard this one lady, she was talking about coping, and, just the fact that they'll give a news story and they'll keep showing the death toll right next to it. Mm-hmm. It's like, what is the purpose of that? We know it's 200. Why keep showing how many people are dying? And you're almost associating that people who get it or with the people who are dying. There's so many people that get it who don't die.
Well, you can see the numbers if you look at the numbers. They said this many people, this many deaths, the whole gap. Clearly those people are alive.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like... Again,
they want people to take it serious.
I mean, that's what I...
And again,
that's
if they
what
want people to take
about.
it serious, you got government officials who are not taking... So again, the leadership is not even taking it serious. So how can you want it... How can they...
Now we can't go according to the leadership.
But now you about to get me going. Please don't get me started.
No, I'm just saying that it's not even just Republicans or whatever. It's the whole... They talked about it. Democrat, all of them. None of them are taking... They're being seen... All Democrats, Republicans are seen out in places with no mask while they're pushing, come on, people, take this seriously, wear masks.
Right.
Yo, come on, man. We gotta use our common sense. We got a lot of programming, but we need to use our common sense on this stuff.
So, what do you guys think about, what kind of effects do you think COVID has had on your life? Like your household, your family, your relationships, work, your health.
Do you want to start?
All of that.
Okay.
One thing I've started, which I don't know if it had. I'm sure COVID has something to do with it because I work from home most of the time, so I have started working out more. So I work out pretty much every day, and just consciously eating healthier. And these are things that I was kind of on the road to anyway, but COVID kind of reinforces how important it is to be balanced mentally, physically, spiritually, or what have you, to cope with things like this. There's a lot going on. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things, people are losing their jobs, people are losing their apartments and houses. Mm-hmm. Real stuff is going on. And if you allow yourself to get caught up in the, just the whirlwind of all the things going on,
right,
it can bring on onset of depression. To me, especially speaking black folks as a whole, a lot of black folks have experienced, post-traumatic stress syndrome disorder or what have you. And we don't even know it. We haven't been diagnosed, but if you look at the symptoms and you look at stuff we've been through and the stuff we react to, the stuff that triggers us, we all have PTSD, And, having this type of condition, we can be triggered by the littlest things. Right. So we, more than anybody, has to maintain balance, healthiness, healthy state of mind, speaking healthy, expecting healthy. Don't depend on this government. This government don't care about us. We know that.
So, and I agree with you. Everyone has been impacted, and like you work from home, I work from home, so I don't go. I have my check that hasn't changed on this time. So I am grateful that COVID hasn't impacted me in that way, right? So I think for people like us, it is a little bit easier to focus on your health, to focus on what you're eating. But those people who are worried about the next meal, who are worried about a job, they don't have the time to worry about exercise. Like, you know what I mean? That balance works for people.
First responders who are out there doing
12
hours.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot for the masses, right? And that is what I wake up every morning and I'm praying and thankful for, that I don't have that I have, that I have a roof over my head, I have a job, that I'm being healthy, that my friends, all of those things. But yeah, for me, when I first worked at home, I had a routine beforehand. Then I kind of got lazy and my joints were starting to hurt. My body was starting to hurt. So I had to start running in the summer just to get back active. I think as far as food, I've gone back and forth. I've always been a pretty decent eater, but because I'm home, I'm like, oh, let me try this new recipe. I was gonna cook y'all some brownies today, but but yeah, like it's like I'm going back to some of my old recipes that I haven't made in forever just because. So there is the COVID weight, that COVID weight is real. And just trying to establish a new routine of what is my new normal, because I think that even into next year, we are facing a new normal. People think like there's just going to be a switch. Even with the vaccine, you want to get the vaccine and you're just going to turn the button and you back doing what you were. This life is not going to be what we knew, and I don't know when it's going to be. But I think that it is about balance, as you stated. It is about balance, but for me, it's just been trying to find my new normal. That's been my biggest thing that I've been trying to work on.
Is it hard to establish a new routine?
I think it is. I think that we're creatures of habit. I think most of us have both a conscious routine and a subconscious routine. We have some things that happen automatically that we don't even realize that are happening, or things that we do that we don't realize we do it. Like, let's say you're watching a TV show, and what's the first thing you do? Go grab a bag of chips. You grab the whole bag. Now you're snacking and watching TV, because this is a habit. So one thing triggers the other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of having an apple or cutting up. One thing I rediscovered, which is so simple, is cutting up a bunch of fruit and putting them in a bowl.
Apple and peanut butter is
Amazing.
the best thing ever.
Fruit salad, amazing. Tastes amazing. You get energy, you get the sugar, you get everything.
Right.
But again, we're so programmed to open up a wrapper.
Right.
So it's just, I think, just being aware of our habits. Like that's the first step to breaking a bad habit and incorporating a good. Because you have to almost do both at the same time. You can't just stop an old habit. You have to reinforce it with a healthier habit.
That's true.
Do you have any comments?
No.
How does COVID affected your friendships and relationships? Do them separately.
So that very interesting on several levels. So I have family members, and COVID has really impacted. Like this, I feel like there's a break in our relationship, and this is a familial relationship, because as you spoke earlier about the anxieties, and some people are so over the top, like it's a balance. Like we have the people who are careless, we have people who are on the other extreme, and then we have some in the middle, and you can fall anywhere in between. I have family members that are, I mean, you would think the phone don't work. I mean, like I don't know, is there COVID through the phone? Because I haven't, so it's that kind of stuff. That has impacted, that's a major impact because you have these connections, your friends that you used to see or talk to, or your coworkers, or all these things, and now you don't have that. So I do feel like COVID is definitely, or can definitely distance relationships. You know what I mean? Like the ones that you already had. I think that if you are not making a conscious decision to be in touch with people, to figure out whether it's Zoom, FaceTime, I have definitely picked up more FaceTime since Corona. Like people who I didn't FaceTime in the past, oh, you get in a FaceTime, I don't care how ugly you are, we gonna talk, and I look like a slave too, so it's gonna be okay. I mean, because I look like a slave half the time in the house, and it's, I mean, I'm not going anywhere, but it is what it is. I think you just have to be conscious about the relationships that you want and to make sure you are still nurturing them in these times. So that's the biggest thing. You have got to, if you care about the relationship, you have to take the time to nurture those relationships and reach out to people because everyone is not doing well. Everyone, and even the people who may have their jobs, they're still not doing well. You have social people who, this is a lot. You have people in homes that when a lot of people in this home, or, it's just those things make such a difference on your relationships. You have people who are in and out. Now you're all in the house. How does that impact you when you're dealing with people? And you get along, but you weren't on top of each other the way you were. You know what I mean? So you're not getting that break. All of those things can really make and break relationships.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I agree. I would say the best point that you had was to make a conscious effort.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost thinking, I need to start setting reminders because I'm horrible. I was almost horrible before COVID, and I work my job. Job is just intense. So it's almost like after my work day, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to be bothered. I want to just like decompress. So and then by the time the weekends come, I just want to relax.
Right.
So, definitely have to make that conscious effort. I'm definitely grateful for those who have kept in touch, those who have reached out, those who have, continued to maintain the right relationships. It definitely means a lot.
Specifically for your relationships, how has it changed for the worse or better?
Well, I would say like me and my daughter, we are around each other a lot more, and I would say our personalities are challenging, but we've grown. Like I am really like incredibly impressed and blessed with the growth of us. Like she is blossoming, So I my relationships, I would say overall, have gotten better.
Your intimate, your personal relationships.
Intimate personal relationships.
Yeah.
And is that because of you being the driving force, or?
I think COVID brings an opportunity to look at self. I think it brings an opportunity to, just see who you are in your relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Not just how are your relationships doing, but who are you? Or who are you? How are you giving to your relationships?
Right.
Are you just taking?
Mm-hmm.
Because COVID will show you who you really are. Like you said, people being around each other a lot longer than they were. And how are you choosing to nurture and exist in these relationships?
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it definitely had me go within and just really see what's important. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So do you think that COVID has allowed you to have more introspective about what's important?
Definitely.
Since so many people are losing people and
one of the,
so many things.
One of the ideas is, and I don't know the science behind this, but just having the feeling of the end of the world. Who's analyzed that? Who analyzed what the brain says when you think it's the end of the world?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like, who do we become when we know our days are numbered?
Right.
Think about people with diseases where they know they're going to die.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got a choice. You can give up But that's not the human spirit. The human spirit is, it fights. It
Right.
fights to the end. You can't even hold your breath and kill yourself. Because your
Mhm.
spirit will push the air out of you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So, I think it's one of those things where you have to keep going. You have to find a way to make a way.
You
That's
do.
what we do.
What do you think about work? How's work different? Your work-life balance when you're always at home.
I know one thing for me, it almost seemed like when people are kind of like enforcing a paradigm shift, a change, it's almost like things for me have been almost expected to rev up. I heard about a lot of people where they had this week off, that week off, but for me, I had more work, a lot more responsibility, a lot, but it might be just for me and my work situation, but it's just intensified. So it definitely makes it on top of being home and, all the stuff going mass and no toilet paper. And
So for me, I will say that is actually the biggest blessing that came out of COVID for me is the ability to work from home. So I work at a company, and we were teleworking a couple days a week already. I like teleworking. I like not being able to have to commute to the office. I'm not much of a people person anyway. I don't,
That's a lie.
Lies.
I'm not, I like y'all. I don't like people.
That's a lie. Anyway.
Moving forward.
So,
Edit.
I'm not that social. So for me to be home, I thoroughly enjoy it. The work-life balance, and again, I think it just depends on the stage of where you're at in life, right? Like I'm not an empty nester no more because the kids is back home, but I have adult children, so it's different. I look at people at all stages of life, whether that people who have a 6-month-old, a 1-year-old, a 3-year-old, a 8-year-old, a 16-year-old, and none of those stages look appealing to me because I can't. My grandson comes over, and doing that schoolwork is a challenge. I think those are the people who are having that work-life balance struggle because they have much more to do in the home, right? For me, my day, like a lot of people, they binge watch shows. My life is so much, like it's literally the same schedule of what I had from work. I get up, I work out in the morning, I log in, I do my job, So it hasn't changed in that way, and I enjoy being able to log off and cook dinner if I need to. And then if I have work to do, I don't mind logging back on and doing a couple more hours. Like, it's fine. I'm going to get my job done. So I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel stressed with work. It has eliminated the stresses that I felt. So out of everything, that is the biggest blessing for me that came out of COVID.
So can you talk about a question from Ghost527? This question is, how do you think COVID has affected the young children in your lives? So you can speak specifically about your lives, but if you don't have young children, you can talk about people that you know who do. I'm sure you have.
Children are hard, and I think about this. I am a big proponent of therapy. I go to therapy, and I have a grandson, and I can see the emotional aspect of this. Just because you have to think about it, kids are in the house, and parents, I don't know, are people really arranging play dates for their children? Like, so I can get a little bit of social. I can call you, you know what I mean? I can manage that on my own. If I want to, this is pre-winter because I'm not going out, but when it was summertime, if I wanted to go grab a drink and sit outside of the restaurant, I could do that with a person or two, But what can kids do? And then they don't have the communication skills. First of all, a lot of adults struggle with communication. Let's just get that right. So it's funny to me when children, we often expect children to have this emotional control or balance. Like when kids are angry or sad and they lash out, or they're experiencing all these emotions that, one, as parents, you know, it's a learning process. You grow with your children, you learn all this stuff. But are we even capable to deal with it? Because COVID is new. We've never been in this situation. So now we have kids that are at home who don't have a social outlet, who are only around you. Like, literally, if you're a parent and you're sitting in the house and now you're the entertainment, and then you take your kids out, that's not fair. I'm sure that this has to be, like, just emotional and hard on these children, and I don't know what the long-term effects. And this is, again, think about social media before we even got the COVID, right? These kids are wrapped up in the social media, they're online, they're doing all this stuff. Social skills in kids are shifting from when our generation, right? Already. Now add COVID to it. Kids who aren't going out, who aren't going to school, who have the 2 friends that they had from last year. Because, again, kids don't have a lifetime of friends at this stage. So they got the 2 friends.
Eating horrible because, you know, school was at least giving them a decent meal.
That's true.
Now they're eating horrible.
Right.
Different shifts of times of eating.
All of that.
Playing video games more.
All of that. And parents who have to balance, and what are they cooking? And, again, the financial aspect of your grocery budget, right? Like, I know what my budget was before COVID, and I also know that it has grown. But again, the people who don't have money, has it grown or has it decreased? So now you're trying to feed or stretch meals for this family that you were feeding one meal or breakfast or whatever it is. Now you're trying to provide for everyone in the house. Who some people were going out, picking up things, eating somewhere else. Now you're providing all this food for all these people, and now you're getting cereal for dinner or whatever it is for these kids because you're tired, you're exhausted, you worked all day, you have to go back to work if you have a demanding job from doing that. So I think all of those things are truly impacting our children.
Do you think that adults realize, because adults are tired, right? Because you have all these things going on with COVID. But I'm wondering, just as much as kids want to play with kids, adults want to play with adults. Do you think kids are sick of the parents too? Like you,
100%.
Because you my parent, you my teacher,
100%.
and I don't have nobody to play with.
100%.
So now you my playmate. I'm sick of you.
I'm sure.
That's what I would think, but I don't know.
No, I mean, there is no outlet. I'm positive that children are going to feel that, and again, they don't have the communication to express it, and even if they could, I know how many. Look, I can only speak about the black kids and the black family I was raised in. You know, what kids can say, you know what, I'm sick of you, Mom, and we can't say that. So now they sit there looking like
I'm closing my door. Leave me alone. Give me about 2 hours.
That it's real, and I think that parents just have to be tuned in and be empathetic. And understanding and try to find creative ways and solutions to make sure that your children are getting the outlet that they need. A friend here too that you trust. Just it has to be a balance. But kids cannot be stuck up under their household and not have an outlet. And we expect that they are going to be emotionally healthy.
Yeah. One of the biggest impacts that I see with children is like birthdays. Like that's just one of the times when you celebrate that, like the one day a year you get to celebrate that child and all their friends and all the theatrics that people go through, and they don't have that. Like no.
Well, they have drive-bys. What do you guys think about that?
Was it
a drive-by birthday thing? Everybody brings their car, they honk, they dress it up, they get their gift, they wave.
I think that
it's something.
It is something, and I actually saw a meme that was kind of cute. It said, these kids in this generation, they're going to think every time they hear a horn or something that's about this. Exactly. I think that people are being creative with these birthdays in Zoom. My cousin was online for a Zoom baby shower recently. And there is actually a company that is baby shower in a box. And they mailed all the participants the games and everything, and it was a whole nice setup. So I think people are being creative. I think that kids, it's just hard, man. it's hard, and I don't know how kids are going to.
I think they're going to be more resilient.
Oh, kids are definitely more resilient. I agree with
If you
that.
think about all the stuff we went through growing up,
Yeah.
we survived.
Okay, but hold on.
I think the kids are going to still be resilient.
Let's now we can break this down because now this is going to shift a little bit. We are resilient and we survive, but I don't know how many people, as much as we say we survive, a whole lot of these people who think they survive really need some help.
Yeah.
So, like, surviving don't mean you good. Surviving just
That's
mean
true.
you made it through. But so just because they survived it, that don't mean they're not going to have long-term effects of this. Because if these social skills aren't up
But
to par,
I still would say, if you look at the generation, I think our generation is doing better than our parents' generation was overall. That's just my opinion.
no, I think we're doing well. And I
When you
mean,
look at economics, when you look at where we've gotten in, you know, different status of, I don't know, whatever the statistics are. If you look at our parents, and you look at college graduates,
Mhm.
we're definitely more college graduates than we. Business owners, we're definitely more business owners than our parents. So I think we've done a lot better than our parents have done. Despite we went through a lot, because we went through their BS, then we had our own BS,
Of course.
you know, and now we're graduating without BS.
and our children will do the same. And our children will do the same. I think that they will do better. So COVID and how we are coping. Do you have anything else you want to say?
I really want to iterate to, you know, all the viewers, if anybody's watching, you know, be mindful of moving. Keep your body moving, go out for a walk, get out of the house, get some sun, walk around the block, do little things to keep your body moving, keep your mind active, be aware of, you know, what you're doing, you know, and definitely just show gratitude for the things that you do have. Let's try to look at the glass half full,
Right.
you know, because we can easily look at it half empty, but that's not gonna help us. So
I agree, and I would say, in addition to moving, which is definitely important, wear your mask. Wear a mask. We have got to fight this virus. You got to do what you can do in your control. Be mindful of the people you are around. Wear your mask and do what you need to do. So that's what I'm thinking.
So thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the first Jem and I show.
And see you next time.
All right, deuces.